Blindspot Season 2, Episode 12, Devil Never Even Lied. Really liked this one. I thought it was a great episode for Roman's character, and us getting to see him struggle with his memories and his former self and his current self, I think it was really great for that. And I love what they did, with his storyline somewhat advancing and them getting a little bit closer to treating him a bit like they treated Jane in the first season, but, much, much smaller steps because of course, everything that he did in the previous season. And, I really love that. I really love what they're doing with his character, and I think he had a really good journey through this mission that they were, sent on, where it's him and his sister, and he kind of works with that, and he has to work with these minute memories, where he gains another memory at the beginning of this, where he remembers Kat, the woman who was with the Knights, and that's pretty much it. He remembers like a little meeting. He's like, I felt important during that meeting. And they go on the mission, and he instantly remembers that they had a relationship. And it goes through this very interesting process of this woman who had such a deep amount of emotion for him, and him possibly having the same emotions for her in the past, but obviously he lied to her. Like, I would assume that it was his choice not to go back. I mean, he definitely could have if he wanted to, but he knew, like, alright, well, she wants to leave this life behind. And as he said, even in the flashback, I can't leave my sister, we protect each other. And that's what he chose. He chose to stay with her. Obviously, he wasn't shot, the day after. He chose. He was like, well, it's getting too close, and she wants to take off and wants me to leave my, my only family behind. I can't do that, so that's why he left. But it was very interesting watching him go through this episode and have to deal with his former self, and then having to fake these emotions, like when he says that he loves her back and stuff like that. He's like, I didn't, I just said what she wanted to hear, and it's like, maybe I never did, and stuff like that. And it was interesting watching him go through it. And of course, when they get towards the end of the episode, and he's like, we're going to take Shepard alive, right? Because I have to know why she wiped my memory. So they touch on that a little. Of course, it's getting just closer and closer. I don't know if they're going to actually do that by the end of this season or not, but of course he's going to find out at some point that it was actually Jane that did it. So I'm very curious how long they're going to pace that out, but I do feel like that'll be something they reveal maybe in the season finale, or maybe just before it, so that it's another crazy moment where he's, if they decide to give him a bit more freedom, he can decide, well, maybe I'll just take off and be my own sort of third faction away from both Shepard and the FBI, because I don't really trust her, but, I don't really trust them either, because he'll probably realize some truth in there once Jane is like, yeah, she, maybe I wiped her memory, but she was actually going to kill us both. Like, she wanted you to shoot me, and you chose not to, and then she was going to kill us both. So that might be how it ends up playing out, and he just kind of takes off and does his own thing and has to figure it out for himself. But for now, we get to see him working with the team, and like I said, thought it was really well done. The other side story in this episode with Weller wasn't much of a story. It really was focused a lot on the single story of Roman, but there was a couple of snippets in there with Weller and him dealing with, not having his child in the same city as him anymore. He and Nas end up breaking up in this episode, which I thought was very interesting because they haven't focused on them having a relationship at all. Like, after they got together, it was like, okay, they're together, and they only really focused on it for like one episode, and then after that it was like referenced, like the scene where she's at like the where she's going where her informant used to go, and he's like, oh, you sneak out every day and stuff. It was like, okay, that was like a super quick reference, but we don't see them like together. Like, past couple episodes we haven't really seen them doing anything or being together or anything like that. So it was kind of weird. I was like, man, that really sucks. Like, it's just, we don't even get to see it. It was like he lost his kid, he lost his current girlfriend, and of course they're still working together. And it's just sucky for him. Like, he just feels like he's kind of just down in the dumps. Like, crap, I got nothing now. I have no one to love that's like right here. I just got like my friends and at work. And that's pretty much it. I was like, man, that really sucks for him. But focused on that a little bit. Reed also had a little bit of a story in this episode where his friend Freddie's girlfriend came into the picture, and she's looking for him. Curious where that's gonna go, because the first time she shows up, I was like, okay, this is way simpler than I thought, because they do like the little recap where he disappears and he's like, you can't come back, and I was like, all right, this should be interesting. Are they like investigating it further? Did they find some fingerprints? Did something else happen? And then it was just like, oh no, the girlfriend that kicked him out came back. I was like, oh, that's super simple. I thought it was going to be like really scary, like some more tension was going to build. And it was really simple. It was just she came into the picture, and then she goes to the apartment to apologize. And I knew what was going to happen too. I'm like, okay. So he opens the door, and then he's like, oh, do you want to come in? It's like, my shirt's only already completely unbuttoned. I'm like, I wonder what's going to happen here. It's like, it's television, so sometimes they just make it so obvious. It's like, there's no reason that that should have happened. She's like, oh, what happened is she's touching his chest. I'm like, no, who does that? Like, why are you doing that? So that's just TV. That's TV. So that happens. They're making out and they're going to do it, and then they may or may not be a couple, and then they probably will be, because that'll have an effect on how Zapata feels more and how they're going to play around with that idea. So we will see how that plays out. I'm not exactly interested in it too much. I prefer it if it was just nice and simple, as just Rita and Zapata and done together, done. But television has to have, it's got to hit its paces, where there's always some random thing that happens, some random person randomly shows up, you see them for the second time in your entire life, boom, you start doing it, and that's it. So that's television for you. But we'll see where that goes. I don't really care at this point. I'm more looking forward to the conclusion, which I assume and hope is just going to be Rita and Zapata. Just, it's like, yeah, we both like each other, we should be together. So that's where it's headed. We all know that, I think. Unless they pull a really great twist, maybe it won't happen, who knows. But for now, it's kind of just hitting the typical stride. Some random thing happens, and poof, he's in a relationship, and now Zapata is realizing her feelings for him. Stuff we've seen a million times. So that's where that's headed. I don't really care that much, like I said. But I just thought it was funny, you know, when it happened. I was like, I wonder what will happen with him having his shirt already open. Like, I don't know. But fine with that. We'll see where it goes. But like I said, the main story I thought was really well done. I like the way it played out. It didn't exactly play out perfectly. You know, it starts off with them going on the mission. Everything seems fine. They're undercover. They have to do like the fake kill with Weller and Reed, which I thought that was a great scene. And Roman just shoots them both, and I'm like, man, based off of, you know, Jane's face, I'm like, I wonder if she knew that they were wearing vests. Like, I knew that was going to be the case, but I'm like, I'm assuming that wasn't really a part of the plan, that they would definitely have vests on. So I just love the way they did that scene. I thought it was really funny. But I like just the way it played out was very interesting. Then it gets to the end, and Roman, he reveals everything. He's like, look, we don't want you guys. Like, we don't really care. We just want Shepard, and that's it. And she actually helps him out. And unfortunately, that ends up getting her killed. After, you know, she takes out one guy. She, like, drew her gun on him like it was the Wild West, because she wasn't holding her gun already. And he went to pull his, and she was just like, boom, and just shot. I was like, man, she drew on him like a quick draw. So I thought that was interesting. But unfortunately, she gets shot in the stomach, and she gets killed. And it was just like, man, that really sucks. And then they go through with the mission, and nothing even happened. Like, everybody in that entire gang, basically everybody that we saw at least, murdered. They all got killed, except for like the two people that Roman and Jane beat up in that room. They're the only people that actually lived. They got beat up. Everybody else was shot and killed, and that was how it played out. And so now Shepard actually has the HMX, so that was a failed plan, even though most of it was fake. You know, that was a failed plan, so they have some actual HMX. And then we have Borden's side of the story, where his scenes were like bookends, where he was at the very beginning, and, you know, he's talking to this guy who I assume is going to be a fairly important character. They actually gave him a name by the end of it. And it's like, okay, well, I know I've been gone, but you need to respect the chain of command and stuff like that. And then we have the end of the episode where he's talking to this guy. He's like, you know, why are you really here? And he tells him, I want to see the country burn. And it seemed like he had a bit more appreciation for this guy towards the end of the episode. I was like, okay, like, you just might get to see that happen. And then that's pretty much it. So all we have right now is Borden is now in control of whatever this thing is. Like, they're inside a whole factory. It looked like they're in a warehouse ready to set up for like an auto show or something. And it's just a bunch of lights and all this crazy stuff all over the place. So whatever this next phase is, it's insanely ridiculous. And we didn't even get to see a ton of people. We saw Borden and this one dude, but there have to be a ton of people like in that warehouse setup. So I'm excited for what we're going to get. Unfortunately, since I had to actually watch this one on Hulu, I have no idea what the next episode is going to be about, so I have no speculations for that. But I am excited for it. But of course, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I want to know what you guys think about Roman's advancement in this episode. I think they definitely picked up on some brand new stuff. We've never seen Roman have any sort of close, emotions for anyone outside of Shepard and Jane, and that's it. And then we see he was at least sleeping with this woman often, so there was something there. But of course, he chose, his mother and his sister over her. But they still touched on some very interesting stuff with him. So I would love to know what you guys think about that. Before I forget, because this is a very important sequence at the actual very end of the episode, Shepard is revealed to Weller, and of course he recognized him. I think I had that guess like a long time ago when they had the picture. When Nas showed him that footage and it was like, this is you at your academy and stuff, I'm like, he'll probably see Shepard and he'll be like, oh, that was like a teacher or something. I think that was like my actual prediction. And as soon as he saw her in the background, he was like, I recognize her. And then of course it cuts right off. So I'm sure the next episode has something to do with that. And I might actually be able to see it after this, because I did record it, but I watched it on Hulu because it was like cut in half and it was just faster without even fast forwarding through the commercial. So that's why I didn't see the promo yet. But I'm definitely excited for that. But like I said, my main question is, how do you guys feel about Roman advancing in this episode, going through, not only getting to see him actually having some sort of feelings for someone else outside of his sister and mother, but also this new version of him trying to confront the former crappier version of himself. Like, I think they did a great job with that. But I don't even know what you guys thought about it, and of course what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.